Hey guys, tonight we slip into the misty streets of ancient China, where rain patters on bamboo roofs and you're dodging puddles in a marketplace buzzing with silk traders and spice hawkers. Picture it, you're clutching a satchel of coins, bartering for a steamed bun when a downpour hits. No umbrella in sight. Yet. That's the world we're diving into, where the first umbrella sparked a revolution against the sky's tantrums. Spoiler, you probably won't survive this deluge without some serious ingenuity. So, let's unravel how humanity outsmarted the weather. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your city and local time. I'm curious where you're chilling tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're standing in the Zhou dynasty, around 2,400 years ago, where China's Yellow River cradles a civilization obsessed with harmony and innovation. Rain's a constant here. Monsoons drench fields, feeding rice paddies, but soaking travelers. Legend whispers the first umbrella appeared when a carpenter's wife, tired of her husband's soggy robes, rigged a bamboo frame with oiled silk. True? Maybe. Historians lean on artifacts. Bronze fittings and silk fragments from tombs hint at portable canopies by 400 BCE. These weren't your flimsy dollar store umbrellas. They were sturdy, built to shield nobles from sun and drizzle. Mainstream fact: archaeological digs in Luoyang unearthed canopy-like structures dated to the Warring States period, proving shade tech was elite level early. But here's the quirky bit. Some tales claim umbrellas mimicked lotus leaves. Farmers noticed how water beaded off those broad, waxy plants, inspiring designs that repelled rain. You can imagine a crafty villager squinting at a pond thinking, why not stitch that into a hat? It's not far-fetched. Nature's blueprints shaped ancient tools. Historians still argue whether umbrellas were born for rain or sun. Sunshades pop up in Egyptian and Mesopotamian art, but China's wet climate suggests rain protection drove the trend. Either way, you're holding a clunky prototype. Bamboo ribs creak, silk sags when wet, and it's heavy enough to double as a club.
You wander through a Zhou village, where artisans hammer bronze and weave silk under flickering oil lamps. Umbrellas aren't cheap, only the wealthy flaunt them. A merchant struts by, his canopy painted with phoenixes, signaling status. You, a humble trader, make do with a straw hat that leaks like a sieve. Joke's on you, the hat's so soggy it slaps your face with every step. The umbrella's genius lies in its portability. Collapsible ribs let you stow it, unlike fixed awnings. This sparks a light bulb moment. Mobility matters. Armies start using them for shade on marches, and soon, every noble's got one. The tech spreads fast. By the Han Dynasty, around 200 BCE, umbrellas are common among the elite. You spot them in markets, bobbing like colorful mushrooms. Silk's pricey, so poorer folk use oiled paper, less durable, but lighter. Another joke: try opening one in a windstorm and you're starring in an ancient blooper reel. The umbrella's not just practical, it's a cultural seed. Trade routes like the Silk Road will carry it west, but that's later. For now, you're in China, where a simple frame and fabric defy the heavens. It's a small win, but in a world of floods and heat, it feels like magic.
You're knee-deep in a bustling workshop in ancient China, the air thick with the scent of linseed oil and sawdust. Bamboo shavings litter the floor, and artisans hunch over workbenches, their hands deftly shaping the skeleton of what you'd call an umbrella. It's the Han Dynasty now, roughly 100 BCE, and the umbrella's no longer just a noble's toy. It's a craft, a science, a quiet rebellion against the elements. You're watching history's first umbrella makers refine their art, and it's mesmerizing, like seeing a proto-engineer sketch the future. The rain outside taps a steady rhythm, but these folks are building shields to keep it at bay. Let's talk craftsmanship. Mainstream fact: Han-era texts, like those from the Mawangdui tombs, describe umbrellas with bamboo frames and silk or paper covers, often coated with lacquer for waterproofing. These aren't slapped together, they're precision jobs. You see a craftsman carve bamboo into thin, flexible ribs, each one sanded smooth to avoid snagging the canopy. The silks stretch taut, stitched with hemp thread, then slathered in oil or lacquer to repel water. It's a process that takes days, and you can't help but admire the patience. One wrong cut, and the whole frame warps. You try lifting a finished one. It's lighter than you expected, but still no featherweight. A gust could flip it, and you're half tempted to test it just to see the craftsman's glare. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some umbrellas were rigged with early hinges, bronze or bone joints that let the ribs collapse. Think of it as the world's clunkiest folding mechanism. You fumble with one, and it's like wrestling a stubborn kite. The joints creak, and you're pretty sure you just invented the first umbrella-related bruise. Historians still argue whether these collapsible designs were common or experimental. Some say they were luxury items, others insist merchants used them for travel. Either way, the tech's a game changer. Portability means you can carry shade or shelter anywhere, from market stalls to mountain treks.
You step outside, where drizzle paints the cobblestones. The umbrella you're holding feels like a status symbol, even if it's just paper and bamboo. Artisans paint these with dragons or clouds, turning them into art. You spot a kid nearby, eyeing your umbrella like it's a spaceship. Joke's on him. He's stuck with a lotus leaf hat that's more sieve than shield. The craftsmanship isn't just about function. It's about beauty. Wealthy patrons demand custom designs, phoenixes for luck, peonies for prosperity. You're tempted to commission one, but your coin pouch says dream on. The process isn't flawless. Silk tears, bamboo splits, and lacquer cracks in heat. You overhear artisans grumbling about soggy nobles complaining their umbrella leaked during a banquet. It's a reminder, this is early tech, not mass-produced perfection. Still, the umbrella's versatility shines. Armies use them for shade on campaigns. Monks carry them to signal humility. You even hear whispers of umbrellas doubling as sundials. Line up the shadow and you've got a rough clock. It's clever, but you're not sold on lugging one just to tell time. Another joke, imagine explaining to your boss you're late because your umbrella said it was noon. By now, the umbrella's a cultural staple. Workshops churn them out and you see them everywhere, bobbing over merchants, shielding scholars from sun. The craft spreads to nearby regions like Korea and Japan, where local twists emerge. You're struck by the ingenuity. A simple idea, sticks and fabric, solves a universal problem. But it's the artisan's hands, calloused and precise, that make it real. You leave the workshop, umbrella overhead, feeling a little smug as the rain slides off. This thing's not just a tool, it's a tiny triumph.
You're trudging along a dusty stretch of the Silk Road, somewhere between Chang'an and a distant oasis, around 100 CE. Camels groan under spice-laden packs and merchants haggle in a half-dozen tongues. Your umbrella, a creaky bamboo and paper contraption, shields you from the relentless sun, its lacquer gleaming faintly. The umbrella's no longer just a Chinese secret. It's a traveler's must-have, spreading like wildfire across trade routes. You're witnessing its journey, from a local craft to a global idea, carried on the backs of traders who don't mind a little rain but hate a sunburn. Mainstream fact. Han Dynasty trade records show umbrellas, or their cousins, appearing in markets as far west as Persia by the 1st century CE. Silk Road caravans didn't just carry silk and jade, they hauled ideas. Umbrellas, portable and practical, were perfect for nomads and merchants crossing deserts and mountains. You see one in a trader's hands, its ribs painted red for luck. And it's clear, this isn't just about staying dry. It's about survival in a world where weather could ruin a deal or a journey. You try bartering for a sturdier one, but the merchant's price makes your eyes water worse than a sandstorm. Here's the quirky bit. Some traders used umbrellas as makeshift tents. Picture it. You're camped under a starry sky, too tired to pitch a proper shelter, so you prop up your umbrella, tie it to a pole, and call it a night. It's not luxury, but it keeps the dew off. You give it a try, and it's about as comfy as sleeping on a pile of rocks. Historians still argue whether umbrellas spread primarily as rain gear or sunshades. In arid regions like Central Asia, sun protection was king,
but monsoon-heavy zones like India lean toward rain defense. Either way, the umbrella's adaptability made it a hit.
You pass a caravan from India where parasols, fancy umbrellas, shade nobles riding elephants. The designs are wild, peacock feathers, embroidered silk, even gold thread. You're jealous, but your plain paper umbrella's doing its job. A gust flips it inside out, and you're left cursing while a camel snorts what sounds like a laugh. Joke number 1, nothing says I'm in charge like wrestling an umbrella while a camel judges you. The Silk Road's melting pot means ideas mix fast. Chinese bamboo meets Indian dyes. Persian artisans add metalwork. You spot a hybrid umbrella with a collapsible bronze frame, and it's so sleek you almost forget it weighs as much as your pack. The umbrella spread isn't just about trade, it's cultural osmosis. In Korea, you hear of monks using paper umbrellas during rainy meditations, zen but soggy. Japan's already tweaking the design, making them lighter for geishas to carry. You're struck by how fast this simple tool travels, morphing to fit each culture. A trader tells you about a Persian noble who gifted an umbrella to a Greek envoy, sparking whispers in Athens. Joke 2, imagine the philosopher pontificating about the metaphysics of shade while his toga gets soaked. The umbrella's not just practical, it's a conversation starter, a status symbol, a bridge between worlds. By now, you're nearing a bustling market town. Umbrellas dot the crowd like colorful flags, red, blue, gold, each one a story of where it's been. You overhear a debate. Some say umbrellas are for weaklings, real warriors embrace the rain. You smirk, knowing they'll change their tune when the next storm hits. Another joke, bet those tough guys secretly stash umbrellas in their tents. The umbrella's journey is far from over, but here on this ancient road you see its power. A small idea born in a Chinese workshop, now shading the world.
You're weaving through a lavish banquet in a Tang Dynasty palace around 700 CE, where silk drapes shimmer under lantern light, and the air hums with poetry and clinking jade cups. Your umbrella, now a sleek bamboo and silk masterpiece, isn't just keeping you dry from the evening drizzle, it's turning heads. In ancient China, umbrellas have morphed into symbols of power and prestige, hoisted high by servants to shade emperors and nobles. You're here to see how this humble rain shield became a cultural icon, dripping with status and meaning, and it's a spectacle that makes your paper umbrella feel like a hand-me-down. Mainstream fact: Tang-era art and texts, like those found in Dunhung caves, depict umbrellas as royal regalia, often held over rulers during ceremonies. These aren't practical tools anymore, they're statements. You spot an emperor's umbrella, its canopy embroidered with dragons and clouds, so wide it takes 2 servants to carry. It's less about rain and more about divine authority. Shade is a metaphor for heaven's protection. You try to get closer, but a guard's glare says, "Stay in your lane." Holding your own umbrella, you feel briefly fancy until a gust makes it wobble like a drunk crane. Joke 1, nothing screams royalty like almost poking a noble with your rogue umbrella. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some umbrellas were rigged with tiny bells, jingling with every step to announce a VIP's arrival. Imagine you're a servant, hauling one of these tinkling monstrosities, praying you don't trip and start a bell symphony. You overhear a courtier complain his umbrella's bells are too shrill, and you stifle a laugh. Historians still argue whether these ornate umbrellas were purely symbolic or occasionally functional. Some say they were rain-ready, others insist they'd collapse in a storm faster than a bad poet's career. Either way, they're power props, and you're starting to see why everyone wants one.
You stroll through the palace grounds, where umbrellas mark rank like badges. Nobles have silk canopies painted with phoenixes. Scholars sport plainer ones, signaling humility. You, a curious outsider, clutch your modest umbrella, dodging envious glances from umbrella-less attendants. It's clear: shade equals status. In Buddhist temples nearby, monks use umbrellas to mimic the Buddha's halo, a spiritual flex. You try picturing yourself under a halo umbrella, but your reflection in a puddle says, "Nice try, buddy."
Joke 2, enlightenment's cool, but staying dry feels holier in a monsoon. The symbolism runs deep. Umbrellas appear in rituals, from weddings to funerals, warding off bad spirits or blessing unions. You pass a bride under a red umbrella, its color promising fertility and luck. It's beautiful, but you wonder how she's not sweating under that heavy silk. The elite don't just use umbrellas, they weaponize them socially. A snubbed official might find himself umbrellaless in a procession, a public burn. You smirk, imagining the gossip. Did you see Lee's shade demotion? The Tong Court's obsession with umbrellas spreads their fame further. Diplomats gift them to foreign rulers, planting seeds in Japan, Korea, and beyond. By now, you're outside, watching a festival where umbrellas twirl in dances, their colors blurring like living paintings. It's mesmerizing, but your arm's aching from holding your own umbrella. Joke 3. Who needs a workout when you've got a status symbol doubling as a dumbbell? The umbrella's role as a power symbol cements its place in culture, but it's still evolving. You realize it's more than a tool or even art. It's a language, speaking of rank, faith, and ambition. As you lower your umbrella, the drizzle feels less like a nuisance and more like a nod to its ancient roots.
You're standing in a bustling Song Dynasty market, around 1100 CE, but your mind's racing forward, tracing the umbrella's leap from ancient status symbol to a modern marvel. The air's alive with vendors shouting about silk fans and steamed buns, and your trusty umbrella, bamboo ribs, oiled paper canopy, shields you from a sudden shower. Around you, umbrellas bob like lanterns, but they're not the clunky prototypes of old. You're here to witness how centuries of tinkering turned this Chinese invention into a global stable, morphing through time and tech. It's a journey of reinvention, and you're holding a piece of it. Mainstream fact. By the Song Dynasty, umbrellas were mass-produced, with workshops churning out affordable versions for commoners, as noted in texts like the Qingming Shanghe Tuer Scroll. You see stalls stacked with umbrellas, paper for the masses, silk for the wealthy. Artisans have streamlined the craft. Bamboo's lighter, ribs fold smoother, and waterproofing's better. You test one, and it opens with a satisfying snap, unlike the zoo-era models that fought you like a cranky mule. Joke 1, finally, an umbrella that doesn't make you look like you're wrestling a dragon in public. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some Song umbrellas doubled as lanterns. Hollow bamboo ribs held tiny candles, glowing through paper canopies for nighttime strolls. You try one, and it's magical, until a breeze threatens to turn it into a fire hazard. You douse the flame, muttering about ancient OSHA violations. Historians still argue whether these lantern umbrellas were practical or just a fad. Some say they lit paths for scholars. Others call them a rich man's toy. Either way, it's a reminder. People loved jazzing up their umbrellas, even back then.
You fast forward mentally to the Ming Dynasty, where umbrellas get sleeker, with lacquered frames and vibrant dyes. Traders carry them to Southeast Asia, where locals swap paper for palm leaves. By the 1600s, European sailors bring umbrellas home from China and India, calling them parasols. You picture a French noble in Versailles twirling a Chinese-inspired parasol, oblivious to its rainy roots. Joke 2. Bet he thought he invented shade, strutting like a peacock in a wig. In Europe, umbrellas shift. Men use them for rain, women for sun, a gender split that sticks for centuries. By the 1800s, you're in industrial England, where steel ribs replace bamboo, and factories spit out umbrellas by the thousands. You hold a Victorian model, spring-loaded, black taffeta, heavy as a brick. It's durable, but no fun in a gale. The tech's evolving fast, waterproof rubber coatings, collapsible frames, even early patents for automatic openers. You're amazed at the pace. China's lotus leaf mimicry has spawned a global industry. But mass production dulls the artistry. You miss the hand-painted dragons, though you're glad not to wrestle bronze hinges anymore. Now you're in the 20th century, where umbrellas are everywhere, cheap, disposable, or designer chic. You see compact models in Tokyo fitting into briefcases and giant golf umbrellas in London,
doubling as wind sails. Joke 3. Nothing says optimist like buying a $5 umbrella in a hurricane. Modern materials, fiberglass, nylon, make them tough, but they're still born from that ancient spark, bamboo and silk against the sky. You lower your Song-era umbrella, rain pattering softly, and feel a thread connecting you to those first inventors. As the market fades, your eyelids grow heavy. The umbrella's story stretches across time, from emperors to commuters, a quiet shield against the world. Picture yourself now tucked under a canopy of stars, rain a distant whisper. Let the day slip away, each drop carrying you closer to dreams. Rest easy, knowing a simple idea from ancient China still shelters us all, its legacy as gentle as this fading drizzle. Sleep tight, traveler.